Okay, Mike, you've got about 15 seconds, okay? As soon as it'll stop and you'll be going live. You got 22 guests.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to All Access Live with Kevin Rankin. You may notice I'm not Kevin Rankin. I'm Mike Meier. So we're brought to you today by 5-Star Guitars, straight out of the Portland area if you're up in the Northwest. If not, you can check them out at 5starguitars.com. Right now, they got some sweet Gibsons on sale and so the 75th anniversary Fender bass. You might want to check those out. And of course, you buy on the web, no sales tax. So getting things started now, I'm going to bring in the host of All Access, Kevin Rankin. Kevin.
Hey, how you doing? Fantastic. Hey, listen, I'm going to bring the rest of the band in. We've got Gord Depp up in Toronto.
Or maybe we're going to bring him in.
Yeah, I'm here, buddy. Yeah, here we are. All right. Whoops. All right.
Gabby, you there?
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Right behind you.
All right. We're starting out with technical difficulties.
Gordy. Mike has disappeared. Hey, Gord, how you doing?
Good. I should be there.
We're back.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Gord, look it. Come on.
We're in love, man.
Kev, did you get that sweet intro?
I loved it. Yeah, you're fantastic. 5-Star Guitars.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, don't forget the promo code, 5starguitars.com/allaccesslive. Enter the promo code, allaccess15. You save 50% on top of the no sales tax thing.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's incredible.
Look
That's
who's here.
better than... Yeah. Hey, let's get right to it, right? We got the four lads from Liverpool.
I'm ready.
Level 7, right?
Yep.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Level 7 was Flock of Seagulls before they were Flock of Seagulls, right, Mike?
That's right, correct.
Yeah. One of your favorite authors, I believe.
At that time when I was reading that heavy sci-fi, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
fun-
nice. Well, let's get to the band intro, shall we? So, of course, everyone here knows Kevin Rankin because he hosts the show, right? A smooth drummer, yes. Give him some props. Streaming star, soon to be huge.
Screaming.
I'm huge already. Thanks, Phil.
Pando, master of the funky licks, right?
Funky monkey.
Yeah, and I say like crowd whipper upper, right? Every time I've ever seen you,
I tried.
Are you with us?
Are you with us tonight? That's my line. Don't steal it.
are you with us or against us? I hope it's not the latter.
I might add a few more words. So
Yeah.
we're not done with that yet. It's
Yeah.
on
By
the
the way,
way.
pando, that's the masculine form of panda in Spanish, right?
Yes, exactly. Panda. If a panda, then you have pondo. Exactly.
Right. Gotcha. On loan from the group Spoons, it's Gord Depp. Hey, Gord.
Gordy.
How you doing? The Spoon. So this is always consternation, right? Is it Spoons, like Eurythmics, or The Spoons, or you don't care?
Spoons is fine. You know, there's a spoon. Just as long as you don't call it a spoon, there's a big band in the States called Spoon. So buy
Cool.
our records, not theirs.
Cool. Gord, you need to turn your mic up, man. I can barely hear you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get you cranked.
I can give you a little more Gord, too. One sec.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's Kevin. He's
Heavy.
potting you down.
Of everything.
We just got Gord. He's a tough talker.
Not better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, it's
There you
better.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, but-
spoons, or as I like to call him, the Canadian version of Duran Duran. Is that?
He turns me down on stage too, eh? Kevin's got a big button on stage. He turns me down all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Potting him through, or he slips the sound guy a 10 and says, just take Gord down, and let's move the drums up. Yeah. And so, and then finally, the man who's been here. Oh, yeah, you've got a guest guitarist, right?
That's right.
I'm just a guy
Yeah.
with an appropriate hairstyle. It's like the
That's
Brady.
cute. Can we get it?
He fits the suit.
Can we get a side profile there? It looks like you've got business in the front, party in the back, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right. Here's the business. Yeah. Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Party in
Yeah.
front, business in back.
Yeah. Kentucky Waterfall. I got you.
Right. Where I'm from.
And then the man who's been here since the beginning, Mike Score.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that a cigar?
This is the closest he lets me without getting sweat on him. So
Well, last time I was with you guys, Mike kept sticking his finger in your ear, Kevin. So
that wasn't his finger.
Wet finger. Good to the ear hole.
I told you, sense of humor's fine with this guy.
that's great. Yeah. So Mike, first, congratulations on the name. It's a great one. Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations to mom and dad. They did well.
You done well.
Yep. And how are these guys to work with, Mike? How do you feel about it? Like, how did you meet? How are they to work with first?
I don't call it work. We're just playing and we're having fun. And, work is when you don't like the people that are around you. So when you like the people around you, it stops being work and just becomes fun and what you do.
So to clarify, this is a lot of work. Is that
I
right?
told you to say the other line, not that one.
Yeah. How did you, Pando, you've been around the longest, right? 2004, 2005, around there?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah. How'd you guys meet? How'd you meet everybody in the band? Start with Pando.
We met Pando at a gig somewhere, and we just started talking, got along a little bit, and then when it came time to find another bass player, it was like, it's called Pando, and we were changing drummer at the same time, and the drummer, Mike, who used to be with us, who's left since, was friends with Pando, so we were like, let's just get in and have a go. And that all worked out really good, and Pando's too lazy to leave. So he's still here.
He's fired me. I just haven't really accepted the facts.
Keeps doing up, so we're like, okay, we use him.
But to cap on what Mike's saying, we used to tour a lot with another band, and I met him on the road years ago, and we, like Mike said, we, talked and touched base and, got to know each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we've seen each other for years.
Yeah, yeah.
Down the
Who knows
road.
how long.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
became
like Gene Loves Jezebel, right? Did you guys meet back then when you were playing?
Actually, when I met Mike, it was Missing Persons.
Ah,
Yeah,
nice.
that was a long time ago, many moons ago.
You've been around. Jeez.
Yeah.
I feel violated. I've been around
What
so
else do
much.
I know?
Okay. And Kev, how'd you meet Kevy Metal over here?
Who?
Kevy.
It just seems
Oh, you're not Kevy Metal anymore?
we've known Kevy forever.
I know.
And then again, when it came, to that point, it was like, well, Kevy stood in with us as a guest when we did the 80s cruise, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago? 5 years
Yeah,
ago.
that's where you met you, Mike.
Yeah, it was the first one.
And
I was
then-
on that cruise.
Yeah, and then from that, we just, kind of got closer and closer. And then when Mike, the other drummer, left, it was just, just a normal step to say, come on.
Slipped in.
Yeah. I broke the guy's wrists.
A band to me is a bunch of friends playing together. Some bands are like, well, I need the absolute best guy here and the best guy over there, but they might not get along. But to me, it's like, if you can hug me, you're my
A bunch of crappy guys.
Yeah, I just love how Kevin's like,
Yeah.
So it's I'd rather have friends around me when you're together all the time than I would just these people who go, oh, I'm the best at this and I'm the best
Yeah.
at that. Because who needs that?
And then Gord, how did you guys meet?
met Gordy up in Canada. How long ago, Gordy? 1,000 years, was it?
Yeah. Well, we first met in 1982. We played together with the Police, but then we met again like 3 years ago.
Yeah, when I was asked to go up there and just play along with a couple of songs, with the Spoons basically joining in with their set, doing a couple of Seagull songs. And then, we got along and it came to the point, well, I like the way Gordy plays. I like his look. It was just a case of like, hey, Gordy, do you want to come play for a few gigs? And he said, yeah. And then it just fitted in nicely with everything. And it's like, stay with us. And we all get along really good. So
that's why Gordy's out of the country right now.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Get along so well, you kept Gord in Canada.
Yeah.
Hey, Gordy, go to Canada.
Gord's afraid of the hugs because of the COVID thing. He's afraid of me getting too close to him. That's why he's still there.
I can see that. I'm just afraid of you getting too close to me in general, actually, but without the COVID.
Right.
So, Mike, I watched some of those shows like, Bands Reunited and that kind of thing. And it's always kind of understood that Frank Mosley, your original bassist, was the funny one, right? He's the prankster. Would you say? Yeah. Okay. So who's the what?
Yeah, he's black way.
So who's the funny one in this band?
Gordy.
He didn't ask funny looking. Or selling.
Got a great impression. He does impressions of people. He's an impressionist.
Oh yeah,
he has a great one.
Go grab your mustache, Gord.
Oh yeah.
So wait.
I'll be banned from ever coming back to America again.
So
this is what it's like all the time. Echo.
So Gord's the funny one, or is he the sexy one?
Sexy and funny.
I don't know. I think Pando might be the sexy one.
I think Pando is.
I'd hit
it. Gordy is sexy, funny, and smart. All of them.
Although every time I'm seen with Kevin, he might be the sexy one because the women are always constantly coming up to him.
That's why he's broke all the time.
Yeah. We can't get anywhere. We go 5 feet and then some new person shows up. Yeah.
Asking for
There
child.
we go.
He finally found us.
So Pando, playing with Gene Loves Jezebel, you're Team Michael, right? Because he's U.S.
Next question.
But seriously, you're Michael asks. He tours as Gene Loves Jezebel in the U.S., right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
U.S. version.
Yeah. For those who don't know, there are 2 versions of Gene Loves Jezebel since like '97 or thing. But you tour in the U.S. version, correct?
U.S. version, correct.
You guys still do that?
I don't.
No, I don't. I do not.
Okay.
I did have a dream, though, our old teleplayer Joe, just like a couple of months ago, Joe had joined Gene Loves Jezebel. And we named it Joe Loves Jezebel. Sorry, Joe. Joe, we love you, Joe, wherever you are. Don't be hating, okay?
Don't be Gene Loves Jezebel.
No hate here. No hate here. It was just a U.S. versus U.K. sort of thing. Yeah. And then you mentioned you were Missing Persons. That was, I'm assuming, post.
That was before, pre-Jezebel.
Pre.
And that ended really bad. Mike was there to witness me kick Ronnie's ass. Ronnie, if you're out there again, I'll kick your ass all over again. So, to the end.
Really? You just Ronnie Ron? Oh, hey, let's talk about that, Mondo.
Wow, yeah. I had no idea.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So was Terry around?
No, Terry was not around. No.
Right. So what about Warren?
Warren did do some shows over the years. He filled in a few times, yeah. But for the most part, she had a main guy, another guitar player.
Yeah. But Kevin, you were in Missing Persons as well, right? Did you guys overlap?
I just subbed 1 gig.
Oh.
That's enough.
And that's one.
Yeah. You were there. That's fine.
Yeah. He has quite a wonderful character.
And then Pendo, is the Beauty and Chaos thing still for you, or is that more like a one-off?
That was a one-off thing. I just did a song on the record, and it's more, Michael Savola, who's great to us, for guitars, and Schecter, we love him. Actually, he just gave Mike a beautiful brand new guitar, and the Beauty and Chaos thing was one of his dreams, that he wanted to get all these musicians on it, and he added a lot of different musicians in. Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to do a song, but yeah, that's his baby. And, we don't think for him to come to bring it to a life of its own. So.
Oh, cool. Gord, I feel bad with you being kind of isolated up there all by yourself in Canada.
I thought you were going to say you feel bad because I didn't play with Missing Persons. Mike played with them too. Didn't you play keyboards with them for a while? I don't know. What's the deal with Missing Persons? Jeez.
Yeah.
They have a lot of turnover.
Well, I did see you guys on a Lost 80s live once with Missing Persons up in nowhere, South Dakota or something, right?
That was a good one.
Yeah. Honestly, they were like, I don't know what happened about the promoting or whatever, but it was
Sioux City, Iowa.
Sorry?
Sioux City, Iowa.
Yeah, that was it.
They had Belinda Carlisle and B-52s right around the corner, and then Bret Michaels was like 2 blocks away. So, and our gig was last added. So yeah.
Oh man. Well, that explains it then. Yeah, because Shelly, that's my wife. Shelly and I went there last minute, right? As something to do, and because it was our anniversary, but I'd been working on the road, and I got up there, and I'm like, "Where is everybody? This is a huge lineup, right?" Bow Wow Wow, When in Rome, Missing Persons, Flock of Seagulls, Farrington and Mann. There were a lot of folks. So, yeah. To me, that's a bonus though, because I just move up front and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, I got a question for you to ask Mike, because we heard a cool story last night.
Okay.
Ask him about the US Festival. How he got there, what happened that day.
Oh, hey, you're skipping ahead.
Oh yeah, well, I'm getting right to the point.
Yeah, there's a quiz, by the way. You guys are all be testing this.
Hey, who hosts the show? You or him? Okay?
I'm just going to keep track.
Yeah, for Kevin, please. Let's hear about.
This is a fun story. I think that's one for the book.
No, Mike, go ahead. You're at the US Festival.
The question was, what was it like basically playing at the US Festival? And I said, well, you got to understand the night before we played in Paris, and so we had to get on a plane.
Wow.
Fly all the way to LA, dump our stuff in a hotel, and then outside the hotel was a helicopter which picked us up and flew us all the way to backstage at the US Festival. I mean, over the huge 250,000 people watching the show. We flew right over the top of it, and we landed behind the stage, and Eddie Van Halen was there to greet us because he was a Seagulls fan. So we got off the helicopter.
Wow.
And we went and talked, and then did interviews. So the band was actually completely knackered, because we partied our asses off a little bit in Paris. Because why go to sleep when you're going to get on a plane that, you got 9 hours or something, 10 hours.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, straight off the plane, straight to the hotel, back on the helicopter, backstage, do 6 hours of interviews, get changed, and go and do a show, in front of, 250,000 people, or however many people it was. Then we got back to the hotel thinking, let's go to bed. And there was a party going on. And it was,
again,
of course.
It was, what do they call it when the
after party?
No, it's well, anyway, this party, they had a band on, and one of the people ran out and go, "You're A Flock of Seagulls," and we went, "Yeah." Said, "Can you play some songs for us?" So we looked at each other and went, "Why not?" So we played like 4 songs at this little party, big school party thing it was actually, and then we hung out and got drunk a little bit and went back to the hotel, and then I think it was 2 nights after that we played in New York.
Oh my
So,
god! To be young again.
we loved it.
That's the way it should
Yeah.
be.
Okay.
That sounds like next year's schedule, kind of.
Yeah. See it.
So if I was to summarize that story, I'd say, yeah, Us Festival. It was another gig. It was nice.
Pretty much. That was actually amazing because the big things about the US Festival was until you walked on the stage, you had no idea how big it was. It was like a football field.
Yeah.
And I looked out and I remember seeing my synth probably that tall. And I felt like I'd been walking for 5 minutes to get to it. And I looked over at where Frank was, and Frank was this big. And then the monitors, it was like, as long as I can hear the monitors, and they were so huge, you know. And of course, it was a great gig. We just loved it.
That's awesome.
It's a once in a lifetime kind of gig.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had a chance? Like, I've seen the US Festival DVDs. But have you ever gone out to YouTube to look through? Like, they have 10 or 20 like closed circuit feeds, and you get it, they're just uninterrupted, right? So you get band members and there's the chatting and everything going on, the setup. To me, that's even more interesting than seeing all the songs, right? Seeing that dynamic back and forth. Like, I'm sure they probably have you and Eddie, right, someplace backstage.
Maybe, but we met, we talked for a little bit, and then it was, come on, you've got to do interviews. Because they were on way later than us.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, you've got to fit in like 12 interviews before you even have dinner. And then you got to fit another 5, and then you can get changed and go on stage. So it was literally, and of course, flying wears you out. I just remember it being so exhausted, and then get to that party and going, yeah, well, why not? Some more.
God, to be in your 20s again, right? Have all the energy.
Hey, Mike, what are you gonna do if I start doing like a Van Halen solo in the middle of Iran?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Got that
Oh
going.
yeah, done and dusted.
Kind of that's kind of like a Marty McFly thing in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, Gord, what was it like working with Nile Rodgers? Speaking of Duran Duran, right?
Yeah, it was good. We just caught him when he went mainstream, with the album that was right after the Let's Dance album. That was very cool. He took us in a different direction, but it was the right thing to do for America. And we still keep in contact. He's bigger than now than ever. He's actually, more popular years later. But yeah, he's still.
Yeah. I caught him a few times on the Duran tour this last time, and I got to meet him briefly, so that was really cool. But I'm a huge Nile Rodgers fan, and you catching him, like, to me, after Let's Dance, Nile kind of hit this zenith, right, where he does Madonna and Notorious, and for you to be part of that same kind of sounds, yeah.
No, we're lucky. We always he came to see Culture Club with Sting because we were signed to A&M in New York City. And we were opening, and he didn't like Culture Club because he was supposed to produce them, and he liked us, and that's what happened. So,
cool. Yeah. So you ever bust out some spoon stuff with Flock?
No.
Just go ahead and crank up arias and symphonies.
I got a little stick. If I go off the rails, he goes little whip. I couldn't do that. But, we're not that different though. The music is kind of the way back.
Yeah. I wish I'd known about you guys. I wish I'd known about you guys when I was a kid in the 80s, man. It would have been great. I mean, it's exactly that kind of music that I would have been into, but so much of what was above, the border just stayed up there. I mean, I can think of like Bryan Adams and Glass Tiger basically making it across, and Corey Hart.
Yeah. We were definitely more British. I think when we played together, Mike and Flock of Seagulls and us, we were the 2 young bands on the bill back in '82. And we were probably the most similar. I remember looking at them being just in awe of the sounds and I probably, borrowed some things from their sound and stuff. And
yeah,
I think we had a certain thing going, but we were from this side of the ocean.
That's true. Oh, hey, I want to ask you too. You got a project, The Lost Boys. So is that?
No, that's like 10 years ago. That's
long
gone.
But the question is inspired by the movie or inspired by Peter Pan?
Yeah, both. Yeah. I was gonna make posters for the band saying "The Lost Boys. This band sucks."
Cool. Kevin Rankin.
Question Corey
Yeah.
Hart.
Yeah.
Say what?
Oh, he asked if you mentioned Corey Hart because we had some cool gigs up there with him. But
Yeah. 2 summers ago, right?
Huge crowds.
Right. Huge crowds. Yeah. 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 I tried to convince Shelley to go up there, but it's like a 14-hour drive straight from us to like Manitoba is the closest place I think he got to us. Guess we could have flown, but Mr. Rankin,
yes, sir.
let's talk about your time in Animotion.
Okay.
You were the longest tenured drummer, were you not?
I was. Yeah, I was in longer than the other 2 drummers they had. Yeah, 15 years.
Right.
Just enough time.
So Cynthia time?
Nope.
Or was she gone?
He was gone. Yeah, it was acid plane. They reunited after a long break. Cynthia came in at the sort of 85 era when they had room to move as a hit.
Right.
There was some issues with the management a bit of Astrid, so they had that happen. Bill left shortly after, so they had a completely different lineup, front lineup. And then they reunited in 2001. They did a one-off gig and figured that was going to be it. They asked me to do a reunion gig for a radio station.
Yeah.
And they just, the guitarist, Don Kirkpatrick, was with Rod Stewart. And he said that the gig that we did was a lot more enjoyable than he remembered the band being before. So we just continued to do shows for a long time.
Well, that's because of you.
All because of me, totally.
Yeah,
I think there was enough time that went by where they appreciated each other's company again. And so, everybody gets wiser as you get older, and some of the drama that happened earlier is gone. And so, it became more family fun, and it was a fun gig. And honestly,
you should take all the credit for reviving Animotion. I think that really is.
I will tell you this: one of my first real gig with them, we did a Fresno gig. Right afterwards, we did the first Nike Run Hit Wonder, 2002. That's the first time that we played with Flock, and I remember just, getting to catch the end of their set because we played this race where there were like 200,000 people running around LA, and we finished our set, and then I had to go. I just went over and caught their set at the end of the set, and it was great because that's where I met Missing Persons and watched the band, watched Flock. Then over time, Animotion did so many shows with A Flock of Seagulls. And so I kind of felt like we became closer. I was always catching their set. I love the
That's
song.
where you and Mike met, right?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Mike doesn't remember this, but we did a gig together. My cover band opened for him in '89 back at.
Remember that?
Yeah. But,
Wyoming boy makes good.
yeah. Anyway.
There's a reason.
Yeah. I'm very thankful for, time Animotion. I would never have gotten to play with these guys had it not been for Animotion. So thanks, guys.
Very cool. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't want to leave out our newcomer here, but someone didn't prep me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we figured he'd be out of here for today by now. Gordon didn't have to be here. We put Chris here with Gord's face.
Yeah. Can you
Chris, what's your background?
a JPEG? Can you send me a JPEG?
I can.
He's from the Reflex.
Oh, hey, how you doing? You
Yeah.
guys played 80s in the Sand.
We did a couple times.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah.
Saw you down there during the Mr. Outfield.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Yeah, Wang Chung.
Yeah.
That was a great show.
Yeah. We backed up like 5 different artists. That was a brilliant gig.
Yeah, remember that last day? It was you guys playing,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. That was like a 4-hour show.
And you guys played with Tony.
We
It's
did.
kind of sad him passing before his.
Yes. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Any,
Like through the Reflex. We played a high school reunion, and we were rehearsal, and they were like, "Yeah, they're having Mike Score play with us." I was like, "How much money did his high school have?" Yeah.
He's still waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, So, by the way, I'm seeing the chat here, and I just want to clarify: not that reflex, not politics of dancing reflex.
No.
Yeah, not reflex.
No,
No,
Double
Oh.
X, the reflex. Yeah,
Yeah.
2X.
it's pornographic.
Yeah.
different.
Sorry.
Very cool. So, Mike, you just got over here from the UK. You've been in the UK for a while. How's your accent? Has it come back?
Not really.
Give me the other one.
I can't do that.
Is that your Florida accent?
Come up from Florida, play a few tunes. We jam, that was all right.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind here, I'd like to cover some, like a little retrospective, if you will. I've been binging on Seagulls this last couple of weeks.
How they taste?
Yeah, it was delicious, by the way. Yeah. No, it's kind of serendipitous. I ran across this guy who had, I was telling Kevin this yesterday, just like all the original albums in just cherry condition, except for Listen. I don't know why I didn't have Listen, but so I put those on the Techniques and cranked it up. And so if you don't mind, sir, I'd like to kind of go through some of those here and just get your thoughts, your perspective. I like the band's perspective. You guys can jump in, like, things that mean to you, and just kind of give me, what was behind those things. So, oh, by the way, Mike, I kind of find it interesting. You've never played in a covers band, right? When you started, you guys never covered anybody else's music?
No.
Wow.
Just straight into writing songs. But when we started, we couldn't play anything, so we weren't going to play covers. It was easier just to make things up and play along.
Well, I was going to say, how do you get your chops if you don't play anything that you already know?
Chop.
Pork chop.
These?
I don't mind fish and chips.
Oh, God.
So no,
I don't have any chops, I'm afraid.
no chops. Okay. So, first record. It's Not Me Talking. Cockatoo Records, right? Bill
Yeah.
Nelson?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you meet Bill? How does it start?
We met Bill through a guy called Mick Rossi, who was our manager, who managed Bill before that. And when he heard us and heard the songs, he said, Bill would probably like these. So he went and sent the songs to Bill. And Bill was like, oh, this band is cool. I like the name. I like what they're doing, because it's almost like they don't know what they're doing, so it's different. So he liked that idea, and he said, if they get a deal, I'd like to produce them. So actually, he had his own little record company, and he said, let's do it and leave it out. And we did 4 songs to start with.
Yeah. They don't know what they're doing. Well, it's kind of the punk aesthetic, right? I mean, punk's sort of dying out at that point, but it's kind of get in there and play, right?
It came from that, but we weren't punks, if you know what I mean. Punk was dying to us, and it was what we called the Raincoat Brigade. Echo and the Bunnyman and all that, long coats. And we didn't want to be dark and dingy. We wanted to be like spacey,
Right. Light and airy.
glittery and stuff like that.
Oh, by the way, you're at that time. What is the first synth you were using?
The first synth I ever got was an MS-10, and I used that for everything right through the first album. I knew that synth at that time, inside out. I couldn't make any. You said, how does a bird take the shit? What does it sound like? And I would go just like.
And you'll get to see that tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, I used to sit at home with that synth for hours and hours on end, just going like plugging things in and out, and I loved it. And I think it's the best synth I've ever had, because I learned more about synths, not about playing, just about synths on that little thing.
Yeah, Howard Jones always has the old story of trying to like hook up 10 different synths on stage, and power going out, chords not working.
I wasn't doing that. One chord was enough.
One too many.
One chord, one gourd.
Yeah.
Okay, so from It's Not Me Talking, you somehow get Jive's attention? How did you sign up with Jive?
We played. We met some guys that became our managers, and they were trying to get us some showcases. So we ended up playing. I can't remember the name of the band, but one of the bigger bands from Liverpool. We ended up opening up for them, and they just Jive had just started, and they had an A&R guy called Steve that was running around everywhere where there was new bands playing.
Yeah.
And he came to see us, and it just popped him out because he'd never heard anything like it before. Everyone else was doing, like Roxy Music stuff and stuff like that. And when he heard us, he was like, "What are these guys up to? It sounds amazing." So he went to Clive, who owned Giant Records, and he said, "You got to see these guys." Clive came down and went, "Sign them up." And, so we ended up live. We also got rejected by 30 other record companies that just kind of went, "We don't understand them. We've got no idea what they're trying to do." So Clive was just like, "They sound great, sign them up."
Gord, was it that easy for you? Did Spoons just go, "Hey, Clive, drop by," and you?
Yeah, Clive was there.
Was it?
You know what? That was our first keyboard too. Was the what was the NS10 or it was called? I remember that.
Really?
I have one of those. That's what brings us together. That's the starting point for all of this. No, we didn't send any demos out back then. It was like a cassette tape, right? It wasn't like now. No, we got signed up within 6 months, and same like Flock. We were just sort of making things up and just being. I think we weren't that great. We were just like different, just different than anything else that was going on because we were listening to British stuff, not American.
Yeah.
Where people always thought we were from England. We were from Burlington. So, you're that band from Birmingham. No, Burlington.
Burlington.
Until you looked at your passport.
What's that cannabis leaf on your flag? What is it?
Yeah. Well, that was the thing, right? I mean, I remember as a kid, MTV coming on, and I didn't have it for a while, right? Because it was in the Midwest, but, we're poor kids. And, you go over to a friend's house, and it was kind of like, appointment viewing. And you'd see Iran come across on the video. And correct me if I'm wrong, Gord, it seems like Spoons were getting played MTV as well.
Yeah.
Right? I know you guys were there for the launch of Much Music.
Yeah.
You're... it's not the whole video killed the radio star first video thing, but you guys were early on at Much Music, right?
Yeah. We were in the very first episode of Much, which is like the version MTV in the States, right? But we were on MTV as well. Not as much as the Flock guys. We never made it as big in the States as they did, but we were there for the video age. That was a big turning point for everybody.
Well, the look had a lot to do with it. So, and of course, nobody had more look than Mike Score in Iran. First. Yeah.
That was the look. Still to this day, talk about Beyond.
I keep teasing my wife, Mike. I'm going to take my hair and just like move it all in the front here and say,
"Do it."
You might get lucky.
Right. So you get the first album, self-titled. And by the way, as a 1-2 punch, opening up with Iran and then going into Space Age Love Song, name me a better album with a beginning 1-2 punch. Yeah, you can't, right? Actually, you guys are just smart because that you should say, "Yes, boss." That's the first one. That's what I'm saying. But the thing I think about Iran, and it was so. I talked about appointment viewing at MTV. You were literally like, "Oh God, that video's on. Let's go look." And speaking of which, Mike, the girls in the video, I'm assuming.
You can assume all that. Assume anything you want.
No, actually, Mike at some point said, "Don't make assumptions about anything." I remember he said,
Never assume anything.
Yeah. That's from his mind.
That was it.
Did any of the band members date the girls? I'm assuming yes. Next topic. Okay.
I thought they were men. I thought they were all guys, little boys, weren't they?
Well, yeah, because Paul was only 15, right?
No, the girls. They were sort of androgynous, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the look, right?
Yeah.
Adam Ant, ABC, and yeah. So, Iran, it goes to number 1 in Australia. It's number 3 in France. It's like number 9 in the US. Does it kind of hurt a little bit that it doesn't even make top 40 in the UK?
No.
No?
I wouldn't care about the UK. UK was Raincoat Brigade. UK was a different scene. We never really thought about being big in England. We thought about being big in the rest of the world. England wasn't our thing, and we weren't our thing. And we didn't find a home as a band till we came to America.
Yeah, I that's kind of the same answer like Duran Duran gave, right? Because you guys took a lot of crap in the trades in the beginning, right?
Yeah, and even if they're talking crap about you, they're talking about you.
That's right.
But you would have been able to tell. We were in Liverpool a couple years back, and we played the Cavern, and it was just an insane scene to get Mike for the Flock of Seagulls for whatever, but it was.
Well, that's the thing with time, right? Now everybody loves you. It's come back, it's great. So
not only that, it's something to be very proud of. Mike got a break in the wall there, like a little terrible induction into the, and that's like a rare thing these days. I think they used to do it all the time in the 70s or something, but now it's just when an important band comes to town, and it was a cool moment.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
And in Liverpool, maybe 3-4 years ago now, the museum had a whole thing about A Flock of Seagulls history, and it was a huge success. It was.
They took down the Beatles one to make room for it.
You guys are old shit.
Yeah. Who's this John Lennon guy, McCartney? Let's get him out of here.
I told Mike that Mike scored this, but my son and I were there in Liverpool. We did the Magical Mystery Tour where we hit all the stops along the way, and the tour said, a lot of people think that the Beatles are the only band from Liverpool that made it big, but there were a couple of other bands. He said, like Frankie Goes to Hollywood and A Flock of Seagulls. And my son said, Dad! Tell him.
I know that guy.
Yeah. That was where I used to go with my kid.
The thing about going back and listening to the first album now, especially on vinyl, it just kind of evokes all those same kind of memories you had as a kid, And Iran is so, what I love about Seagulls is it's so expansive, right? Everything's grand, everything's huge. Like the whole possibility of the world is out there. And then you put Space Age Love Song onto it. It's kind of, it gives you kind of anything is possible sort of vibe, right? It's very hopeful, is what I'm thinking. And as a young kid, I'm sitting out there and I live out in the sticks, right? And, we're on a farm out in the country, and I just look over this vast space and you hear, Space Age Love Song playing, and you just feel like you can run a million miles. And then, like, even today, if I put those, if I put the earphones on and I go to work out, like Space Age Love Song, oh yeah, I can do treadmill for like half an hour putting this thing on repeat.
We called it great driving music, because you put it on.
It's fantastic driving music. I've got a remix of Space Age, which is like 6.5 minutes long, and you can. I may violate some speed limits when that comes on. You just got to drive fast, right?
You got to check out the original album he did a couple years ago that has that version with the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra.
Yeah,
goosebumps on it, man.
I can't believe that. So, Mike, some other questions on things that on the first album. So, You Can Run. To me, that should have been a single. What are your thoughts?
Yes, that's Clive, who owned Jive. He wanted that to be a single as well. And the people that promote it said, no, we don't want that as a single. But Clive was just like, that's got such a great beat, and it's very military, And he said it should be a single. And later on, he was like, I was disappointed that it never actually came out. He wanted to splash the money, make a video, do everything for it.
Yeah.
But
who goes against Clive?
Yeah. All the people I used to go against.
Also, Mike, why is Modern Love automatic exactly?
Because you put 2 bob in the slot, and that's what you get.
You've been saving that one, I know.
Yeah, that's funny. standing in the doorway, you got this huge like tempo shift about a minute and a half into it.
Yeah.
Are you forming all these, Mike? Is this the kind of interplay between you and Ali and Frank, or how has that come about?
Well, that had a really nice atmospheric beginning, and I think there was a point where we went, we can't go any further with this. And we had this other song that we were writing. So it's like, how do we get from that to that? So we just did like a big explosion. And then Ali started drumming, and it just kind of, you play that 3 times and all of a sudden you go, it couldn't be any other way. It had to be like that. And then when Mike Howlett heard that, who was producing us, he was just like, wow, what a shock, because you get lulled into the atmospherics and then it just goes back into a song.
It's kind of like In the Air Tonight, right? It's going and it's going, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. It's just that break and right in your face.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. Is it hard to pick your first single for your first album?
Not really. I mean, I would have chosen Space Age, but the record company, we had to go with what they wanted. And
yeah, how much say do you have?
We were recording Iran. Mutt Lang came in, and he actually sat in the mix, and he said, "Now it's ready to go. It's got to be the first single."
Wow.
Him and Clyde were best friends, and he went and told Clyde, "This is it. This is the song."
What does Mutt Lang know?
Nothing about us.
Greg Score has early Mutt. That would have been that's pre-Pyromania.
Yeah. No, they were actually. He was getting
probably recording
tapes every day. I think they were out in Germany doing the recording, but his studio was in London. So every day he had tapes of what they did yesterday, and he would listen through it and then call them up and say, "Well, I like that bit you did, but the bit after that I didn't like," and that's kind of how he arranged and produced until he had time to actually get in with them.
Okay. So you come over and start touring immediately in the U.S.?
No, we made our album and they just got shelved straight up because Jive were just like, we've got these bands, but we've got this new band that we don't know what the hell they're doing. The record's finished, it sounds good. We couldn't get airplay in England very much. But we went and did a couple of shows in England with Squeeze. We ran into Squeeze and made friends with them, and they were like, "Come and open up for us," So we went, "Yeah, great, yeah." And then after about maybe 4 or 5 gigs with them, they said, "We're going on tour in America. Why don't you see if you can come with us?" So we went basically with our manager and asked the record company, would they support that? And they said, "Yeah, we'll give you some money and you can go to America. In that meantime, we'll promote it a little bit there, find out how you get, accepted and stuff like that." So we went. We played about 2 weeks of college gigs, and then all of a sudden, Telecom took off as like a #1 club hit, and suddenly it was like, give them some more money, get them in a nice hotel, get them a bus, everything. And so Squeeze went home and we stayed and we did, I don't know, that year we did like 300 shows. Just because there was nothing else for us to do except do shows.
Yeah. I think Frank said you guys did 157 shows back to back.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
It was
does that help?
Yeah.
That helped kind of break Paul, right? Yeah.
We went from doing little clubs, 200 or 300, 400, and then, maybe a opening for somebody. Then we got into the bigger colleges, 1,200, 1,500. Then we toured with the Psychedelic Furs, which was 5,000 or 6,000. We did some with the Human League, 10,000, 12,000. We ended up touring with the Police, which was 60 to 100,000 a night. And it just seemed to go, dominoes going down. Like, we got a new tour next week starting, and now you're in small stadiums. Now you're in bigger stadiums. And then it was the Police. It was like, now you're going all over the world. And we're like, can you go home? No, we're not going home ever.
Ever.
Well, you were on that tour too, right, with the Police?
No, just one show in Toronto.
One show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
Or
met
the-
then or not? Did you meet?
Yeah. Loads of times.
But they met. Gordon, Mike met there too.
Right.
You know, wait, just quickly, we didn't chat or anything, I don't think, but they sure left an impression on me.
Cody wouldn't to me.
Yeah. Where did the Go-Go's fit in on that? Did you tour the Go-Go's for a while?
We did, yeah.
Same period or later?
It was psychedelic first. Then I think it was the Go-Go's. And then there was we did some shows with the Cars. It just kept being like, and the next one is this next band, which is even bigger,
Yeah.
One and the next one, until all of a sudden it was like, where are we? And
Right.
all these people want,
So did you make a move on Belinda at any point, or?
Of course.
Well, because I don't know, you guys know the Smithereens, right?
What?
You ever play the Smithereens? Pat
Yeah.
Denisio's band, New Jersey. So, because the story is that Pat Denisio did his song "Blue Period," which Belinda guested on, just so he could meet Belinda.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if Mike Score is like, I need to write me a song.
No,
Have Belinda thing on it.
we met on the tour. We hung out with them. We met them every night, and we stayed to watch them. We got to know them pretty well, and it was they're a very friendly bunch of girls.
That was good. How was Sting?
It was nice to me.
Oh, good.
They had their own problems.
Yeah.
I remember we were in the dressing room once, and there was a knock on the door, and it was Andy. And he's like, "Can I come and hang out with you guys because they're fighting?" He came in and he sat down, and we got to know him real well, talked to him, and then he's like, "Oh, I better go back and see if it's all been split up yet." So that way we got to know them. My brother used to play ping pong with Copeland all the time backstage, and when we played in Paris with them, we went on stage and people were yelling, "Police, police!" And I said, "No, we're not the police. They're coming after." And we played really good, and by the end, the crowd was into it. And when I came off stage, Sting grabbed me and went, "If you guys are this good all the time, you're off the tour." So, he was good. He had a great sense of humor and everything. So
that's funny. When you re-released "It's Not Me Talking" in 83, right? There was an EP, and it's got a live version of "The Traveler" on it. And when you listen to that version of "The Traveler," it's got that. It reminds me of "Regatta de Blanc," which is why it's like the EO EO EO.
I don't see it like that. I honestly had the same feeling when you sent me the set list. I got a little Police vibe from that.
Right. Well, it's in the air, right?
Yeah.
You're hanging around the bands, and it's like trade. Everything rubs off on each other, and that sort of things. I've never been, I don't know how you feel, Mike, about if you hear other people like copying your sound, or they got kind of a flock sound. Does that bother you? To me, it's all just musicianship, right? It's bouncing things off each other.
Them copying the sound doesn't bother me. I don't particularly want them to cover a song unless they're doing it completely different to the way we do it. But I think if they try and recreate your sound, that's kind of like a compliment, When they do a bad cover and release it, that's
with the insulting,
or they perform it with the reflex.
Insulting.
So let's talk about "Listen" for a minute, right? So, "Wishing," greatest Flock of Seagulls song of all time. That is not up for debate.
That's what John Waite says too.
It is. It was number one in France, so if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me, right?
okay.
But No, I just think that, the first time you and I ever met, Mike, was on the 80s cruise. And I'd asked about, because there's like a 9.5 minute version, right? And you told me that you had a 12 something minute version. And yeah,
I mean,
and you said,
I don't write short songs. I write big, long things. Because when I get into them and I start playing the riffs and stuff like that, I don't just go, oh, this is great for 3 minutes. I want this to go on forever, because the more I play it, the more it sounds better to me. And then all of a sudden I'll go, okay, I'm moving on to the next one. But Wishing was even longer than 12 minutes, to start with.
wow.
It was probably closer to 20.
It's an aria.
So, nobody complains when Pink Floyd do that. And they were one of my favorite bands.
It's a symphony.
It was, I had the riff, and I was staying at Mike Howlett's house in London, and I was just recording it, and I was just going, it just sounds better and better and better. And the longer and longer and longer it got. And, and then I went, oh, I got to put lyrics in. And I had some memories that I turned into the lyrics. And then I thought, this has just got to sail away at the end, like Hey Jude kind of did, So when I went to the record company and played them the demo and spoke to Clive, and he said, well, it's a bit long. And I went, yeah, but it's not long enough. Is it? So when we went in, he said, can you cut it down to 9 or 10 minutes? So we ended up at like 12, and then I think it was 7 on the album or something like that. So that's not for me to think about. That's for people that are going to promote it and stuff. If they want to cut it down, they come to me and go, look, we cut it down to what you think.
Yeah.
At that time, I'm onto a completely different song. So yeah, cut away and do what you want. I've got the song in me that I want. So I don't worry about what they do to it. Their job is to sell it. My job is to write it.
Yeah. Well, when you told me that on the 80s cruise, right? Like, oh yeah, I can email it to you. I can send it to you. I said, okay, great. And so then when you guys came to town in Kansas City in 2019, I reminded you of that. You're like, yeah, I'll get it to you. I'll have Kevin get it to you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
So are we.
I have such a bad memory for stuff like that.
You could just send that 20-minute version over. That'd be great.
Something will you sign it? Yeah. And then I almost stuff like this. I look at it and go, well, one day. Okay, I'll do it.
Right. You know what's funny? You're on listening, and you go from Wishing right into Nightmares afterward. So you get this like nice soaring, huge, aspirational songs, and it's like, no. Traveler, that mix of guitar and the synth, right? To me, that's true of nearly all the Flock stuff. But what's with the double L's on Traveler? Is that a British thing?
I don't know. It just came up like that, I guess. Just somebody wrote it down like that, and we went,
Yeah.
Don't make it a hate thing.
I think Transfer Affection has always been really nice, right? It's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it's nice and open. I like that song because it's it's very simplistic and it's open, and yeah, it's got a really nice atmosphere. I go more for atmospheres than anything else. I don't want to rock hard, and I don't want to be wimpy and twee like a lot of little synth bands. So I just like if it's a nice atmosphere, and I've got something in my head for lyrics, it comes together real easy. So
yeah,
Maxwell was. I think I saw something on television, and robots always want to be humans, right?
Right.
So it was just about that. It's just about a robot going, I wish I could transfer my affections and become something. So I'd seen something about that, and I went, yeah.
Yeah, you're keeping it spacey, keeping it sci-fi. By the way, there were like 400 versions of Listen. Did you know that? UK, two versions there, the European version. So Thanks for that. Good tracking down all those things.
It's not a problem.
Yeah. Let's see. So here, Kevin, is where I would talk about the US Festival, but since we've already done that, we'll
Do it again.
yeah, we'll do.
Nothing. Nothing. It's kind of boring.
Mike, how long did you guys stay around for the US Festival? Was it just that day
Yeah,
and the party afterward? Because you had to get to New York. Yeah.
we played at the. We just signed to Arista, and that both called Clive, the record companies. So Clive Davis was having a party at Studio 54, so we flew out and played at that, which was yeah.
And then was it after that that the Fix started opening for you guys?
Yeah, I think that was that tour. I didn't really know the Fix apart from Red Skies, which was, I love that song, And then when I heard him play, and I was like, get him off! But
They're too good.
the great thing with the Fix was they were growing like we were. They were pushing the limit as well. And they made us play better because they were so good live that every night we were like, holy shit, we've got to really
It's
get it.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
You got
that's
to
what
elevate your game.
picked them to be on that tour, because we'd reached a level where everyone liked us, and we had to get pushed up to now you've got to be really professional and hot,
Right.
And the Fix did that. They pushed us up, and the good thing is I'm still friends with the Fix.
I'll put you guys on the spot. Kevin, favorite song off of first album?
Space Age is my favorite song, period. It's my favorite to listen to, my favorite to play. The memories that come along with it, being a teenager, roller skating, and making out with my first girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pando.
I'll go along with Space Age. I mean,
Space Age.
It's a magical song. Any way you look at it, playing it,
Well, we know it's Mike's favorite, right? He thought it should be the first single.
Yeah.
I think Space Age, but I think Space Age was the best atmospheric song. But for me, as writing, I think Wishing was the best.
Yeah. Gord, are you gonna make it a?
Off the first album?
Yeah.
Walking in LA.
Now you owe Dale 15 cents.
They're all from Missing Person. No, you know what?
So, Mike, you're looking for a new guitarist then? Is that correct?
We just ran out.
I gotta say Space Age too, but the one I really like too that we're not playing is I don't know if that's the right title. Don't ask me why, or don't ask.
Yeah.
Love that one.
That is pretty great.
It's also very spacey. It talks about flying saucers.
For the first album, we actually recorded it, and I think it got put on a B-side.
It's not on the first album?
Huh?
It's not on the first album?
Is it? I don't know, because I know it got put on a B-side too. I don't listen to the first album.
It's on the Canadian release.
He's gonna look.
Mike, which of the 200 versions did you get of that one?
Let's see. Well, actually, the US version is different from the UK version.
Yeah.
Iran, Space Age, You Can Run, which should have been a single. Don't Ask Me. Yeah.
Great song.
You can keep your job.
So, Mike, by the time you get to Story of a Young Heart, are you just burnt? Or are you still kind of going on fumes? Or is the adrenaline there? How's it to get to make the next album? Because there's Paul's left at that point, right?
Yeah, basically there was no band at that point. So I was writing songs. My best friend from school, when I was at school, he committed suicide. So I did a lot of thinking about him, and I thought, when I hung out with him, he was such a he enjoyed life and everything like that. So I wrote that whole album in, I think, 14 days about him. And my brother came along, he was still drumming, and Frank came along, was playing a bit, because we were kind of iffing and eyeing whether we should carry on. And I was like, if we don't carry on, I'm just going to do this album anyway. You know,
Yeah.
I'll pay for it myself. I'll do everything myself. We got a good friend of ours in Steve Lavelle to produce it, which made it really easy, not having to deal with a producer that was going to change what we wanted or anything. And we started recording it, and it just, I think it's a beautiful album, but it served a purpose for me of well, I don't know, the ghost of Ian was removed from me, and that was my way of getting it out, you know.
Just sort of processing, right? Getting through all the emotions. And what I've always liked is if you listen to The Dancer, it's like so light and ethereal, right? It's kind of like Space Age in a lot of ways. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of that album is as well. Like The More You Live, The More You Love. It's the same thing. It's that whole, to me, that's the Flock sound, right? You got that kind of floating, soaring kind of sense. And then the guitar, it kind of interplays, wheels back and forth between off of there's a bass that just kind of, you know, thumps and powers you. To me, that's what I love about Flock, right? Is there's just, you feel like you can fly. I think Flock of Seagulls is probably a great moniker for the band because you feel light like a bird, like you're going through. But I always wanted to ask you off the story of Young Heart. Do you still wish you were European?
I am.
Being that's UK, does that count?
That song's got a whole nother angle to it that you will never know. These guys will never know. Well, Pondo might. But that came from when Ian and I were kids and we wanted to be Italians and drive scooters and be, you know, we were Europeans and
have cappuccino and live.
Yeah. Of course, later on, David Bowie came along and he was all European. Right. We know all about that already. He's a very
Yeah, I really enjoy that album. When you listen to Remember David, the guitar riff that kind of cruises through there, and the again that same kind of interplay back and forth with the synths. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kevin. I got to talk with my hands here to kind of get to what's going on. But
you know that whole thing that you like, the interplay, that came out because we couldn't play. Because you're like, hang on, I can't play and sing, so I'm going to hold a note, and if you make your guitar sound like the synth, then it will all like come out of itself. It will sound like we're great. That was our and that kind of developed into our style.
So the thing I love most about Flock of Seagulls was just a dumb mistake, is what you're telling me.
It's not really a mistake.
Happy accident.
On Heart of Steel, is that you singing? It sounds like somebody else. Yeah, it's kind of a gruffer sort of mic score.
Probably had a cold. You know, I sang Wishing when I had a cold. And I remember Clive coming into the studio and saying, "Wow, your voice sounds amazing." And I'm like, "Oh fuck! Now I'm gonna have to have a cold all the time." It makes me sick because it thickens your voice up and gives you a different kind of range kind of thing.
He had COVID '84.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, and then
started '84. The host.
Yeah. Oh. You know, I was thinking when Kevin told me we're going to do this meeting, and I figured everybody would be shot from top up like here. I thought this would be a good time to like do the 7th inning stretch, right, and play Pants or No Pants. But I can see all you guys, but Gord, we don't know if he has pants or no pants.
He's completely naked from the waist down.
He is. He's a freak like that. I know.
Come on, Gord. You gonna keep us in mystery?
Come on, Gord. Stand up. Stand up.
Come on, Gord.
No. I didn't shave this morning.
No pants.
I did shave in the bottom down.
Happy birthday to Meg, by the way.
Yeah. So Mike, by 85, 86, it's basically just you, right? When Dream Comes True comes out?
Yeah. Me and Fairlight.
Yeah. On oh, I missed it. When I listen to that album, it sounds very of the time, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's great because that's one of my favorite periods. Is that sort of big drum, echoey kind of thing with the stabby synths and the kind of looping guitar. I think "Heartbeat Like a Drum" captures that perfectly. Was that your choice for the single?
Uh,
I mean, I can't believe that wasn't like a huger hit, right? It sounds a lot like Dance Hall Days, or it kind of a Wang Chungy ABC kind of thing going on, and they were big at the time. How to Be a Millionaire, right?
Yeah, the songs were not written like that. They were just written like normal Seagulls songs, right? But the record company came and said, "You owe us an album. You had a 4-album deal, and you've done great. You owe us one, and go in the studio whenever there's empty time and do it." So I got with Pete, who was a Fairlight programmer, and he, at that time, you got to think the band's broken up and it's quite depressing, right? So he came along and he goes, "All right, we're going to make you a new hit, and you're going to have a new sound."
Yeah,
and that's what came out. So
that's
for me, writing it and singing it and playing a few things, Pete was the guy that was like, "This is what's in right now, and this is how we're going to get you a new hit," kind of thing. So I just went along with it, and then when that deal ended, of course, I was like, I never really want another record deal.
I need my freedom. Yeah. Speaking of Wang Chung and ABC, do you consider them contemporaries? Who do you consider contemporaries? Because you guys kind of all started out at the same time.
I don't consider them. Wang Chung I listened to. ABC was not really my style. I got into them a bit later on.
What about Duran? Because they featured guitar too, like you did.
Oh,
who?
Yeah,
Duran. I've never heard of them. Yeah. No, but so who did you see as your contemporaries then?
Nobody really. I mean, I liked a lot of stuff, so I didn't say follow a band. I mean, I was into stuff from Pink Floyd to Wishbone Ash to David Bowie to Bauhaus to Joy Division, and also Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole. And I liked songs rather than bands and stuff. And what my dad played, I liked, and what was on the radio, I liked.
Yeah. Favorite Bowie album?
The weirdest thing that happened was I got a Wishbone Ash album, and I used to play it loud because I thought my parents will hate this, And then I went out one day and I came back early, and my mom had it on the record player.
Oh,
she was booming.
They were no longer cool.
So, that was but I had a very differentiated departments of what I liked,
So after your mom listened to Wishbone Ash, you never listened to them again, did you?
Yeah. No, I started to get my dad into it then.
Didn't your dad show up at you guys were playing a punk club and he showed up and he's in the middle of all the punks?
We were playing, I think it was Leicester University, something like that. And it was like punk night because it was, in those days, right? So
yeah, we
went on, we're all spaced up and stuff like that. And then Ali, my brother, says to me, "Look at the back down there, it was about probably 60 people back. It wasn't a very big place." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, like that. So I looked. And, oh, shit, that's my dad. So
you got to pick up chicks.
Either that or you're in trouble.
Anyway,
Mike, you didn't take out the garbage. Get home.
No, it was actually, "Where's my car?" So we did the show. We went in the dressing room. My dad came in and he said, "Okay, now I see what it's all about." Because there was about 300 kids there all going crazy. And he never understood it before that, and he went, now I understand what it's all about. You go to the top, because
That had to be satisfying.
in that show,
Yeah.
that you could see us going a long way, you know. And after that, he never came to see us again.
You go, get far away.
You go away.
Yeah.
No, but that's got to be satisfying to have your mom and dad kind of finally see how it's taken off, right? Everything you've done, you paid off. Because
before that, my dad was like, get a job. You know,
right.
it was typical, you know, go get a job and have a career. But when he saw that, he's like, no, you do this. This is what you're for. This is what you're about. Go and do it the best you can.
That was cool.
Funny thing with your parents, how, you know, mom and dad either are going to support you 100% or not, you know, and like to your point, once they see what the real magic is happening, you know, you take it as far as you can.
Yeah, my mom was always behind us. She was always like, oh, I love it. It's so good.
Okay. Anybody else's parents show up at their gigs? Gord?
Oh yeah. The same thing. They didn't take it seriously. Like, you gotta go to a school, you gotta get a real job. And, okay, this is how harsh my career was. First album, we got a record deal, right? First album, we're getting airplay. I let my mom hear it, right? She's very honest. She went, "Oh, it's very lovely, but do you have to sing?" She did.
That's what we've been telling you for years, buddy.
She says, "Can you get somebody else? Get somebody else."
Oh my gosh.
Well, she was an Engelbert Humperdinck and Tom Jones and stuff. That wasn't her cup of tea, I guess. Now she loves it, right? But back then, my first album, I didn't even sing yet. I was like yelling and, you know, barking and making noises and stuff. We were more punk than anything, but yeah.
Well, just, you know, working a little, it's not unusual there.
Yeah. That's the set back anybody. Your self-esteem just goes down the window. It's pretty harsh, but you know. So you get bad reviews in a magazine. Who cares, right? If your mom slags you,
it devastates you. You know, that's the worst experience you can have.
Yeah.
Well, the first time my kids saw videos from the '80s, they made it in like 30 seconds. It turned that off. Terrible.
Is that you?
Stop it.
Is that you, Dad?
Totally embarrassing.
Wow.
Yeah. Families are great.
Mike, I have to ask you, are there any subscribers in the chat that have any questions that you'd want to, because we can't see them here.
It's a lot of, you guys are awesome. You're so great. I love you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
your questions are fantastic. I want to make sure that, And
oh, Mike, I was thinking back on Dream Come True. There's Cry Like a Baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really testing your memory here, aren't I? Right? Yeah.
As soon as I do,
When you look back at that album, is it just sort of I had to get this done, or are there any tracks on there where you're like, yeah, that was pretty good?
No, I like all the tracks, but I did have to get them done. And I did them in a way that if I was doing it today, I wouldn't do it like that. But I didn't really have the strength then to say no to the record company who said to me, you owe us an album and you owe us $500,000 quid. So it's like, well, okay, we'll make the album and then I'll just be gone from them and they have to collect royalties and stuff like that. But
yeah,
to me, it was a big learning experience too, because before that, I didn't really, apart from playing parts, didn't get hands-on with any mixing or anything like that. On that album, it was me and Pete who was doing the Fairlight, and Steve, and I had to do a lot of stuff myself, and did make a decision. So even though it wasn't the best album as far as sales and that went, to me it was like it opened a lot of doors to how you work in a studio and stuff like that.
Well, I liked Love on Your Knees because that was like the first real kind of funky thing that you did. It's like got a Prince vibe going.
Who doesn't love?
Nothing like Love on Your Knees, exactly.
You think I got in the band?
As I said to people, it's Love on Your Knees.
Sorry, man.
So you get out of the record deal.
He's called Wayne Braithwaite at the time, and he worked with Madonna, I think, and a couple of other things. And he was in the studio, and he was hanging around in England. And they said, "Why don't you work with Wayne and try and do something different?" So yeah, we did that.
I think it paid off.
Hey, Mike, I'm sorry, I've got to leave.
We actually need to wrap up too, Mike Meier.
I've got
Okay.
a gig. I'm starting a tour with Missing Persons. They're waiting for me.
Gordy,
All right.
you have to go. You're
Look, Gordy,
nowhere.
they've got roadies already.
Take for a walk.
Okay. So let's go to lightning round then.
Bye.
So
See you
Mike,
guys.
better.
See you, Gordy.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right.
So Mike, better hairdresser, you or Frank?
Me.
Yeah, but Frank used to do Paul's hair.
That's why I'm better.
Enough said. Next question.
Okay. The Madonna tribute. This used to be my playground. How did that happen?
I was asked to choose a Madonna song to do a tribute. I'd never done anything like that, so I was just like, okay, I'll try it. And I think it turned out better than her version. And again, at that time, I think I just bought a couple of new synths, and it was like, oh, here's a chance to get into it. And I had my first Pro Tools rig, and I just sat down and did it, and then I got a couple of friends over to help me out. And it just turned out good, and I went, oh, wow, what a shock. Because I was going to do it, and if it wasn't, they were going to go, I can't do it, but it turned out great, and put it out, the guy that wanted me to do it.
We just lost Mike, so he's coming back in. What's that?
There?
Yep, you're here.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of all the songs of Madonna, Mike, why this used to be my playground? What spoke to you about that?
I don't know. I just heard it and went, I like that one.
Yeah. But it was slow. I don't know. I could see you doing Holiday, right? Lucky Star. I have to ask about this. The Hoff. Lips Like Sugar.
Yeah.
Working with the Hoff. How did you do that song? How did you meet the Hoff? How'd that all go?
I never met the Hoff. That was all done in Germany. I played the synths and stuff on it. And it was Cleopatra Records, I think, just said, we love it, sounds great. And the producer of it loves the synths and stuff. And then they asked me to make an album of covers, which I've kind of worked on. He's gone again. Yeah.
We lost you for a sec, sorry.
Yeah. An album of covers.
Yeah, which I have worked on, and some of them are great, but I'm not going to let them put it out. So for me, it's an exercise in how other things were written, but I don't think I'm going to let them take I think I've done about 8 up to now, but I'm not going to let them put it out. So
Okay. You can send it to me along with a 20-minute version of Wishing.
yeah, I'm going to redo that. I'm going to do a slow version.
It'll be 40
minutes.
We need Hasselhoff on the tour.
But Lips Like Sugar. I mean, God, what a great song.
It was funny to do Echo and the Bunnymen song, who I know.
Yeah.
This guy that I've never met in my life singing it. and do all the synths in Liverpool. So Echo from Liverpool, I'm from Liverpool, and he's from America, and it was all done in Germany.
And it's the Raincoat Brigade, right?
And it was released in America.
Yeah, exactly. All of that.
The final question.
Oh, a final.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Sorry, we have a rehearsal to finish up.
Okay. Each one of you, favorite Flock song and favorite to play in concert, if different.
Well, I mentioned, I'll go first. I mentioned Space Age is my favorite Flock song. It's my favorite to play. I would say a close second, the one I get goosebumps with a lot, is Man Made.
Nice. Nice.
Space Age or Wishing, whichever Some gigs I like one better than the other. It just depends how they kick off when you start playing them. Sometimes
That reaction.
you hit "Wishing Perfect," it's the perfect song. But Space Age always carries itself. It just
Yep.
Yeah.
Pando.
I would say Space Age. Like I said earlier, it's just beyond magical to play it and see the reaction of the crowd and whatnot. But to Mike's point with Wishing, it's that opening. It's like when that hits on that, it's just like wow, And then the very ending of Wishing, it just sends you off into a whole other place with a big wow. It's just like a whole a whole nother ride, if you will.
Yeah.
I could probably answer for Gord, because even though Space Age is his favorite, he said he's been begging us to do DNA, the song that Mike won the Grammy for.
Should.
Next
Oh, that's right. Kevin, nice working in the Grammy right there. That was good.
Chris?
For me, I would say now it's The Traveler.
But
I
Love The Traveler.
Play it first, but it will be my favorite once I learn how to play it.
Right. Messages of Traveler, again, those songs are toe tappers, if you will.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get deep in the zone with that song.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, can I go one more?
Sure.
Okay.
It's going to cost you $20.
Kevin, favorite drummer?
Of all time?
Yeah.
The guy that turns my crank is Bonham. John Bonham, man. Like there's nobody that feels better when I listen to him. But I've got, a lot of favorites. My Uncle Jim Ferrolo in Chicago is a jazz drummer. He's a big inspiration too.
Chris,
Actually, Mike has been drumming like this last year. And I think
really?
he and Downtown Julie Brown are gonna try and vie for my favorite guys.
Chris, favorite guitarist?
Favorite guitarist for me, probably, if I had to pin it, maybe Nuno Betancourt.
Nice choice.
Yeah.
She's got a real thing going.
What do you think Gord would say? Any idea?
He'd say Gord
Himself.
Well,
I know he likes Andy Summers a lot. He's a
Oh God, I love Andy Summers. I don't know if you listen to his solo stuff, but it's really good. Bando, favorite bassist?
Well, it'd be a crime if I didn't mention. I'm a huge '60s guy, Moving a decade later, John Paul Jones, Temptations. Who's the guy who played it?
Jameson?
Yeah, James Jameson, exactly. All those kind of soul, funky.
Yeah. Bernie Edwards?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Nice. Mike, favorite synth player?
What?
I'm really a bass player.
You jack
No.
That's I only started playing guitar about
Yesterday.
About 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
So the people are in for a good show later on tonight, then, is what you're saying.
yeah.
the show's tomorrow. The nice neighborhood.
Yeah. Playing like this.
Gotcha. So, Mike, favorite synth guy?
I don't really have a favorite. There's too many good ones out there. They play different styles, and the guy.
It's a very politically correct answer, Mike. Thank you.
But the guy that played with Keane, all that
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
brilliant stuff.
How can he answer that question with his sounds? They're beyond iconic.
I just didn't want to say.
Well, it's me. Of course.
Clearly, the right answer is Mike's score. Yes. Very good. Well, guys, I could take up a lot more time, but I've really had a great time here. This has been a great interview. If you ever want to do it again, let me know. We'll go deeper. But
Get your own show.
Kevin, appreciate you.
Hey,
Very nice.
I do want to say, man, you did a fantastic job.
Yeah, great job.
Congratulations on winning the contest too.
Yeah.
For
Thank
those
you.
joining, we had a subscriber contest for our YouTube subscribers, and Mike was the fortunate recipient.
I was a lucky guy.
Did a great job. I think it was great. If you have not yet done so, I'm going to put this link up here. Please subscribe to this channel. I want to make sure that people can go back and watch this again and again. and I can collect monetization.
Yes.
Yeah, so that link below,
Yeah.
youtube.com/.
Yeah.
This is the word, man. And
Subscribe, people. Subscribe.
you did a fantastic job. And thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Come on.
All right. Thanks.
Tomorrow, Pollock Resort and Casino, right?
Yes, Apollo
Yeah.
Casino.
Apollo Casino.
All right.
Yeah.
Great job,
Hey.
Mike.
See you there.
Can't wait till you guys come back to Kansas City.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Nor can we. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
All right,
all.
guys. Have a great
Have a good one.
All right.